wasn't just that my dad helped write the civil rights provision for the for the Michigan Constitution, though he did. It wasn't just that he helped create Michigan for the knowledge of God, whose ways are not always our ways, but whose justice is certain, and whose mercy endures forever.
What's up, this is Derek. We're here at the NAACP National Convention with Cedric. We're just trying to get the reaction on Mr. Romney's speech, how your morning's been going.
The morning's going fine, but I think the convention gave him a very ice-cold reception, a very ice-cold reaction to what he had to say. Although I don't have any problem with him stating the numbers and everything, but he does not have a plan as to how he's going to solve the economic problems. And I noticed that in his speech he did not even touch immigration. Under the current administration, he's put forth some plans, and Congress has not allowed him to carry out his plans. When you have one party that's totally in control, be it the House or the Senate, if you're not going to give the incumbent or those that are in charge any leeway, from day one, Mitch McConnell came out and said, our number one priority is to not get President Obama reelected. And then all of these other issues just seem to come up, one after another, to distract and not allow him to carry out his plan. Well, other than, he's obvious, he has the charisma, he has the fire, the ability to get people fired up and everything. And, here in the NAACP, you're fired up and you're ready to go.
Do you think there are big differences between President Obama and Mr. Romney?
Not real big. I think that, is he a Muslim? Is he a Christian? Everybody knows that Mr. Romney is a Mormon, and then of course that has turned off a lot of people. But I don't think one's religion has much to do with how you can govern a country. I like Ron Paul's ideas on his elimination of some federal government departments. Ron Paul brings some issues some issues to the table, just like Al Sharpton did when he ran, just like Jesse Jackson did when he ran. Everybody brings issues to the table, and it's up to the media whether they want to focus on those issues or not. Because if the media doesn't let those issues get out, then they won't get out. You will never hear either the president or Mr. Romney talk about what goes on the inside of either the Federal Reserve or the IRS or anything. Well, because those are the departments that they're going to hit, and they're going to try to keep them afloat.
Shouldn't it be the president's job, if that organization has too much power, to go in there and figure out what's going on?
One thing I've noticed about this president, he has put a lot back on Congress to do their job, and they have failed to do that. It's not all about, you just don't dump everything on the President of the United States. Congress has a job as an oversight to the whole federal government system, and they have failed to oversee the federal government. They call on the President, well, the President's not doing his job with this, that, and the other. Well, Congress is not doing their job in oversight.
This is Derek. We're here with Reverend Mark Green at the NAACP National Convention. We just heard Mr. Romney speak, and you are actually from Mitt Romney's state of Massachusetts, correct?
Absolutely.
So what did you think about his speech today?
It was very clear. He articulated his ideas, very clear. It sounds good on the surface. And, knowing that having had him as a governor for 4 years, I think he would do a credible job if he gets there. So, I don't really have that many problems with him.
Will you be voting for him in November?
Will
you be voting for him in November?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's simply because I've been in civil rights for a long battle, the struggle for a long time. And, President Obama is one of our crowning achievements, I think, of the civil rights organization. I think Obama is standing on our shoulder. He's there because of the work that we've been doing over the years. Okay? And so, he's up there, and I don't want him to come down.
Both men take a large amount of donations from Goldman Sachs and from other banks.
For what?
From Goldman Sachs and from other banks.
Oh, I know that.
Do you think that's going to affect the way they'll run the White House?
I think I really think big money. What I'm afraid of is big money is going to buy the election. That democracy is not going to work the way it's supposed to, because money corrupts that.
These two men can be bought off by the banks. You just said that you're afraid that democracy won't work and the election will be bought, but the election is only one part. In order for them to actually buy off the election, they'd have to buy off the man themselves. So do you think Mr. Obama or Mr. Romney are capable of being bought off by large banks such as Goldman Sachs?
I guess I don't want to accuse them, but I'm saying, you do have to listen to your supporters. You can't run away from your supporters.
So if they're getting millions and millions of dollars from the banks, they might have to listen to them then, huh? And so,
if that's what you got to use to get in there, I'm saying you can't really blame them.
Well, do you think the president then maybe he could use Goldman Sachs money, get into the White House, and then turn around and maybe start prosecuting some of the Goldman Sachs people who caused the 2008 financial crisis?
I think you've got to be careful with that.
Why is that?
If you use that money,
don't bite the hand that feeds.
But I'm saying you got to embrace their philosophy too,
which is bankers running things.
So. Somehow or other we're beholden to the people who support us somewhat.
So we're beholden to the bankers.
Beg pardon?
We're beholden to the bankers then. So we could essentially say that the bankers run the election through their donations to the candidates, that they run the democracy.
I would say that they certainly influence it. Let me say that way.
Yeah, they definitely influence it. Thank you very much, Reverend Mark.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
He sounded like a salesperson to me. Very animated. Well, not animated, very monotone. And I didn't feel like I could believe what he said. I wasn't convinced. He didn't convince me that he's, I still would like to know what policy he has in mind. He didn't convince me. And the Obamacare, it's health care reform, and it's for everyone. So, as I've heard said,
did he call it Obamacare?
He actually did, and I couldn't believe that. That's insulting.
What would you say are the major differences between Mr. Obama, President Obama, and Mr. Romney?
Well, he's actually in office doing things. Obama's in there working, trying to help the people, and Romney's trying to get elected.
And if Romney were to get elected, do you think he would be in there helping the people, or do you think?
Well, it would make the NAACP would have to work extra hard to really make sure that everybody's civil liberties are protected. The right to health care, the right to education, civil liberties that we're entitled to. I know that the NAACP would have to work a little extra hard if
Mr. Romney.
I believe our current president is just taking the same stand. He's just in office and trying to stop the war that we have at hand.
What about Libya? The extension of Libya.
How they liberated and how
we have now a conflict over there, and there's of course it's obvious it's always going to be a mess. Nothing goes easy. But
all over.
we were currently, and this has been extended since President Bush during President Obama's presidency, that we have drone bombings in Somalia, Yemen, Libya. And of course in Pakistan and Afghanistan, the numbers of countries that we're kind of spreading to, whether it's boots on the ground or drones in the sky, seems to have spread while President Obama's been in office. Do you believe he's an anti-war candidate?
I do believe he's an I think he's not for it, yes.
Hey, what's up? We're at the George R. Brown Convention Center for the NAACP National Convention. We just saw Mitt Romney speak and then run out the back door very quickly. Interviewed a couple people to see what they think is the difference between Romney and Obama. The new monster, Obamney. A lot of people seem to make excuses for Obama. We tried to bring up the anti-war issue, bring up Goldman Sachs donations. Most people agree, though, that there's no difference between Romney and Obama, and that Ron Paul is quite different from both of them. So why they're choosing to vote for either of them, I guess they want more of the same. Stay tuned.